Washington is drowning. Before sunrise, the river broke its limits, streets vanished, homes filled in minutes, families ran with nothing but fear in their hands. A violent atmospheric river exploded over Snohomish, pushing the river to its highest level in 35 years. Cars floated, power collapsed. Evacuation sirens screamed through the darkness. Rescue boats fought raging water as people were pulled from second floors. One wrong turn, one ignored warning, and a life was lost. This isn't a forecast. This is chaos in Washington, and the water is still rising. Washington state has been thrown back into chaos as another catastrophic flood tears through the region, with the city of Snohomish standing at the center of destruction. In just a matter of hours, a relentless atmospheric river unleashed torrential rainfall, forcing the Snohomish River to surge beyond control. According to official measurements, the river surpassed its historic 1990 flood record, reaching levels not seen in more than 35 years. What unfolded next was swift, violent, and unforgiving. Residents barely had time to react. Water rose at an alarming speed, swallowing streets, homes, and entire neighborhoods before dawn. Families scrambled to save pets, documents, and whatever they could carry as floodwaters surged through their doors. In low-lying areas, escape routes vanished within minutes. This wasn't just flooding. This was a rapid collapse. Meteorologists confirmed that a powerful sequence of atmospheric river systems, fueled by warm Pacific moisture, battered Washington in rapid succession. The rain fell harder and faster than forecast, overwhelming rivers already strained by weeks of prior storms. During this period, parts of the Pacific Northwest ranked among the wettest places on Earth, shattering daily rainfall records. Saturated soil turned deadly, with nowhere for the water to go. Runoff exploded into rivers and drainage systems, accelerating flooding across Snohomish County. By morning, entire residential blocks had become isolated islands. Avenue D and Maple Avenue disappeared under waist-deep water, while cars floated helplessly or slammed into fences like abandoned debris. Residents described terror. Many said the water rose so fast they had only minutes to flee. Parents carried children through freezing floodwater. Elderly residents were trapped upstairs as currents ripped through ground floors. Evacuation centers were rushed into operation at schools and community buildings, filling rapidly with displaced families who had no idea when or if they could return home. Emergency crews worked through the night. Firefighters from the Snohomish County Fire District launched non-stop rescue operations, using inflatable boats to reach stranded residents. Some evacuees had to be carried out on stretchers, unable to walk against the rushing water. Dozens of emergency calls poured in as drivers became trapped on flooded roads that looked passable, till they weren't. And then, tragedy struck. A 33-year-old man lost his life after driving past a road closure sign into floodwaters. His vehicle plunged into a farm ditch filled with nearly 6 feet of water, becoming fully submerged. He was pronounced dead at the scene, the first confirmed fatality from this devastating flood event. Authorities issued urgent warnings. Do not drive through flooded roads. One mistake can be fatal. But the destruction did not stop in Snohomish. Across Washington, flood impacts intensified. In Tukwila and Pacific, extreme water pressure caused river levees to fail, triggering mass evacuations and worsening flooding across parts of the Seattle metropolitan area. Hydrologists warn that aging levee systems are under growing stress as extreme storms become more frequent and more intense. Infrastructure began to give way. Bridges in Snohomish were closed for emergency inspections amid fears of foundation erosion. Power poles collapsed. Substations were submerged. Entire neighborhoods went dark as utilities struggled to reach flooded sites. Officials warned that power restoration could take days or longer. Schools closed. Businesses shut down. Life came to a standstill. The economic damage is mounting fast. Snohomish, one of the region's key agricultural hubs, saw vast stretches of farmland swallowed by floodwater. Winter crops were destroyed. Farm equipment submerged. Barns flooded. Some farmers reported livestock losses, a devastating blow that could take months or even years to recover from. Experts warn this is not an isolated event. Meteorologists and climate researchers say this flood fits a disturbing pattern: stronger atmospheric rivers, heavier rainfall, and more frequent extreme weather, driven in part by climate change. Washington officials have acknowledged that existing flood control systems are no longer sufficient, yet many infrastructure upgrades remain delayed due to funding constraints. Meanwhile, humanitarian efforts are racing against time. The American Red Cross and local volunteers opened emergency shelters, distributing food, blankets, and basic supplies. Families arrived soaked, exhausted, and uncertain, clinging to each other as they faced the unknown. Inside evacuation centers, resilience and fear coexist, and the danger is not over. Forecasters warn that additional rainfall remains possible. Rivers have not fully crested. Saturated ground increases the risk of landslides. Authorities urge residents to stay alert, avoid flooded roads, and inspect homes carefully once waters recede, especially for electrical hazards and structural damage. This flood is a warning. With records shattered, lives lost, and communities displaced, Snohomish's disaster highlights a growing reality. Washington is increasingly vulnerable to extreme weather. As waters slowly retreat, residents are left asking whether stronger defenses will arrive, or whether this chaos will return, even worse. Next time.